Hey, I'm just having a little fun here. So, I just got back from the movie theaters, and hold on, let me skip this back a bit. There we go. I just got back from the movie theaters and got to enjoy the movie The Northman. So I had to do a quick review on it. I am going to start trying to do more movie reviews because it is, oddly enough, my real passion. Drinking is fun, but I actually enjoy watching independent films. So don't expect me to review every single damn thing that comes out, especially that's from Marvel or Disney or DC, because half the time those are a given unless I have something really, really needed to be said. Like I could have done one for the Batman, because quite honestly, Batman is an overrated movie. But today we're going to focus on this one being The Northman by Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers is a director more famously known for his last two movies, which is The Witch and The Lighthouse. Both been considered extremely melodrama and extremely dark and extremely difficult to follow. He has a way of putting yourself into these pieces where it flashes you back. The Northman is more of a hybrid of both. It's a more commercialized movie, but still has his elements to it, which is still mixes and matches. You still don't know what exactly is going on. He has a strange way of mixing fantasy and reality at the same time, which I really enjoyed. And I think one of the unique aspects of this film is that it goes back and forth. Look, so it'll sometimes show you in certain scenes two versions of the same tale based on legend. So it will tell you the story of the legend, and then it'll go back and tell you what actually happened. And so it's a great setup. The movie is almost 2.5 hours long. That's with credits. It does not feel long at all. It does tend to keep going, and you kind of don't want it to stop. And then it just ends. So I gotta just get it out the way, and we can get into the meat and gritty over here. I'm not gonna do a real spoiler alert thing on here because this is one of those movies I want you guys to enjoy. I will say I was fascinated by the cast. This is to compare the Northman to something most common people will watch is it's not like Braveheart or Gladiator. That is true fact. And people, most of the reviews that I read, they said it's a little slower, it's a little like melodramatic, and it's a little plot and scheming, but I didn't feel that at all. I never felt not one part of this movie being slow. I felt it more like a Game of Thrones episode, which is a lot of plot and scheming, yes, but it leads up to these like big like brutality executions. Like I'm talking about the fighting scenes when they do get to them are brutal. They're brutal. They're simple but brutal, which is not over exaggerated. There's no like guts flying at the screen. The gore is is all more imaginary if anything. You hear the slicing, you hear the gushes, but you barely will see it. And when you do see it, it's like a quick frame view of it, and then it goes away. He doesn't linger on it like most people would. Like if you say if it was one of the guy from Hostel, in one of his movies, or Quentin Tarantino, it'll be like a lingering, like over, like settling of that grotesque violence. But in this one, it was very slow. It was very methodical, and when you see the fights, it goes by fast, and before you know it, like holy crap, there's like stuff is happening. So to get into the brief summary of what exactly is the Northman, Robert Eggers, and it has Alex Skarsgård, he's more famously known for the show True Blood. That's what his first started out. But I also had Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawkins, Bjork for some random reason, and Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe. And that's pretty much the gist of I can describe Willem Dafoe's character is. Willem Dafoe probably got drunk and just stumbled upon the set and said, let's keep him there. He fits. The Northman is a Viking's tale and is actually the original legend of Hamlet. So Hamlet was written by Shakespeare and it became famous from that. But Shakespeare got the idea for Hamlet from this legend, this old Viking legend. And so the actual birth of this legend, no one really knows. It just knows it's a old Viking's tale with this Nordic mythology twist to it. And I'm glad that they emphasis on that. And even the main character name is Hamlet. And so Hamlet Wolfgang, I think that's how they pronounced it. And there is certain moments where they'll speak clear English, but then they'll go back to the Nordic language for like a brief 2-3 minute scene, and then they go back to English again. So it kind of adds more depth to the scene itself. The other woman is in this movie is I have trouble always pronouncing her name. She's from the Queen's Gambit. She's also started off in The Witcher, another one of Robert Engler's actresses. Anya Taylor-Joy. Anya Taylor-Joy. If you see her, you'll recognize. She was also in The New Mutants. She's a phenomenal actress. She's not in it for too long. They made it sound like she's in this movie for a while. And I remember for a moment, I was even hearing her praising her work. But she didn't do much for the first half of the movie. And then when she finally gets something to do, she does tend to steal the scene. She's very romanticized and very like almost like a prophet type scenario. Kind of reminds me of the character from Braveheart, which is the love interest of William Wallace. The same like exact attitude and wisdom and this pushing thrives to it. And you kind of feel bad because there is a morality tale to this story. And the morality tale is, can you get lost in vengeance and overlook the positive in things? And so it's a great tale. I mean, it's been told 1,000 times, but this is like the original aspect of it. And it's a good. Nicole Kidman's one of the weirdest turns for me because she, again, is a character when you see her on screen. She's briefly shown in the beginning, in the middle. She's like briefly in it, and then when she finally has her moment shines. She is this completely different person, and it's kind of hard to like even like fathom the idea that this is Nicole Kidman playing. Bjork is in it for like 5 minutes. That there, I've spoiled that part for you. Bjork is in it for 5 minutes, being Bjork. She plays the witch, the prophesied witch. And same with Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe plays the village jester, but he's also like the village prophet. So he's kind of like if you want to go by Hamlet, Lion King aspect, he's the monkey. He's the monkey with the stick who prophesies the return of Hamlet and the end of the tyranny of the king. There is a slight twist to the ending, which I kind of saw it coming. Because we are used to the original Hamlet tale, the original Lion King tale, but this one has the original tale of this is a little bit more dark and a little bit more twisted, and I do like that because this is a Viking setting and these are Viking people. They don't hide the fact that Vikings were not good people. They were brutal motherfuckers, and they killed everybody. It only kept the finest specimens. It only kept the finest women, the finest kids, and everybody else. And I'm talking, and they show it. Everyone else gets the end of the sword. No one lives inside of a Viking's eyes unless they're worthy of their clan. And so I love how they do show that aspect, that raw nature. Like these guys aren't good, and even the main character who's a Viking. They show him doing these brutal fucking things, but he does it as an ends meet, like he has to do it, and so it gets lost in the end. The main bad guy, I feel like I've seen him before. The uncle, and I want to say he was in 300. He looks super familiar. Clance Bang, I guess is his name, and so Clance Bang, was he in 300? I gotta see this right quick. No, he was not. I'll be damned. He looked just like him. He was in Sherlock. He's in a bunch of BBC movies. He's also a singer apparently. What the hell? The more you know. But this movie is fascinating. I enjoyed it a lot for what it is. Is like I said, you don't feel the time rushing at all. Like it's just you get involved in it. Especially if you're a giant Game of Thrones fan, you would love this a lot. The cinematography of it makes me want to go to Iceland now. It's very dark. It's very moody and foggy, but it's beautiful in the same way. It's a lot of greenery. It's a lot of mountain scenery. There's a lot of like hot springs. I really want to visit Iceland. If anything, this movie will probably push people to go to Iceland to visit them. It's very fascinating. Like I said, there are moments in the movie where you don't know if this is actually going on or it's all inside his head. The way he has his visions are crazy as fuck. And again, there's always, and another thing that too you gotta remember is this movie always builds up to a battle that never happens. So that's a kind of small spoiler in that aspect, but because it's hold back a lot and there's reasoning behind it, and not just, oh, we don't want to do it because we want to be over grotesque or we want to be over violent. There's reasons behind the constant like tension building. It's this constant tension building, and then even in some aspect, he approaches it a different, more methodical way. It's hard to explain what he does, and he does it using like science as witchery, for example, and is clever, is smart, is brutal as fuck. There's a couple scenes that I can quote the fuck out of it nowadays. This movie literally wants me to just go to the gym and get jacked and just lift some fucking weights while I fucking just hammer away, because this is a very, very, like, I enjoyed it a lot. It wasn't hard to follow. This is definitely a lot easier to digest than, say, The Witch or The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse has a very, very old-timely English, same with The Witch. Witch is all substance, a lot of build-up to like probably a 5-minute climax. Same with The Lighthouse. People more known those movies for the endings than the actual movie itself. This one, there's so much to pick from. There's so much things to remember from. And I can see people, even bros guys, just running around screaming Valhalla for no reason now. This is it. I enjoy it. I can't praise it anymore. I'll definitely worth the time and watch. And I assure you will not be bored of it. And if this is not your cup of tea, look, I'll warn you, this is not a Braveheart scenario. This is not a epic battle war movie. This isn't the Battle of the Bastards. There is no giant set pieces like that. This is a more methodical one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat type thing, and a lot more Game of Thrones scenarios. A lot more trying to outwit the other guy. And if you can understand that concept and be sure that you enjoy that concept, like I said, if you like Game of Thrones, if you like shows like that, that's just more about who's sneaking around in the back and plotting and scheming and trying to outsmart the other guy, then you will actually really, really love this movie. This movie is for you. If you want more action set pieces with an epic ending, you will not get that here. That for sure you won't. The scenery, though, is amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautifully done. There's a couple scenes I'm just like, that shit looks like a painting. But you can't miss it. It's definitely a must-watch for anybody who's a fan of this type of genre. And then Rama Engler, he's just going higher and higher. And I'm really glad that he finally put himself in the middle. This is finally his grand opus. He finally found himself with this movie, in my opinion. I wasn't a fan of The Witch. I was okay with The Lighthouse. This right here is his opus. And this is the only way he can go. He can go down now, but I feel like he finally found his stride, and this is his momentum. He's just gonna keep pushing forward to it. This is the point where people are gonna be like, okay, he has it. He has what it takes. It's not a horror piece. It's a good historical piece. It's worth the watch. All right, I'm a little dragging on here, but I'm telling you, I'm very passionate about this movie. Go ahead and give it a try. I'll rate this a good solid 8 out of 10, easy. So, Northman, go watch it. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.